Hey Beach Boys fans, what we have in front of us is Mike Love's house on the corner of Mt Vernon and Fairway. This was his childhood home in the late 50s. This is, if you are a hardcore fan, you know that this is where the Wilsons and the Loves and the extended families would get together on Christmas Eve, and where their Aunt Glee and Brian would arrange all the cousins, the extended family, and Christmas carols, because they were so great at arranging vocal harmonies. And then after a couple of hours of the Christmas carols for the family and Brian getting up there and performing, they go to along these blocks here and they'd sing Christmas carols for all the neighbors. And this is the house where Mike Love lived in. His dad, Milton Love, he was very successful in the sheet metal business, and unfortunately the family went broke. The father went broke in his business, and they had to move about 2 miles south of here towards Hawthorne, in what was called back then the working class poor area of Hawthorne. And this is like what they call the Windsor Hills part of Los Angeles, and down there is what they call the Limert Park area, and there's a couple of old cinemas that I'm sure the Beach Boys and the Loves would go down and walk towards. That little cinema on a Saturday, I'm pretty positive. There's 2 old theaters down there. And they used to also walk from their 54th Street Presbyterian Church to this house. Brian, there's a couple of anecdotes with Brian and Mike and his sister walking from that church and coming here and hanging out after. And Brian Wilson had such fond memories of this house that he actually had to write a song called Mt Vernon and Fairway on the Holland album. I'm not quite sure if it's a song or a poem. I haven't really didn't really like the Beach Boys in the 70s, so I never really listened to that song, but I'm gonna have to. So you Beach Boys fans, thankfully that house is pretty much original, and it looks just the way it did back then, because I saw a photograph of Mike Love in front there, and it looks exactly the way it did in the photo when Mike was living there in the late 50s. Okay, this is about, I guess, about a couple of 100 feet from Crenshaw Boulevard, and they're going to be putting a trolley through there. So this neighborhood, I'm sure people are going to start moving into it and buying these buildings up, and then doing what they usually do in LA, gut them and remodel them. But thankfully that house looks original. The people didn't change a thing. And okay, well, Beach Boys fans, I'm gonna go now to the house that Mike Love moved to after the family went broke. I'm gonna go to the 54th Street church that Brian Wilson and his family used to go to, along with the Love family. And okay, hope you guys dig this little video, and thankfully the house is there. And I know a lot of you guys on blogs have been obsessing about where this house was. Well, here it is, Mike Love's childhood home, or rather teenage home probably. Okay, thanks a lot.